Space was cold and quiet beyond the orbit of Pluto. There, drifting in the darkness, was an old listening satellite called Deep Echo 7. It had been placed there almost 30 years ago by Earth's Space Watch. Most people forgot about it. It had never picked up anything important, just background noise from the stars. But on this day, Deep Echo 7 woke up. Its old sensors beeped, softly at first, then louder. It had caught something, a signal, not from Earth, not from any human satellite. It was slow, repeating, and strange. It sounded broken, like it had traveled too far and lost pieces of itself in the dark. But one part of the signal was clear. It repeated a word, over and over: help. No one was watching the satellite live. It took nearly 5 hours for the signal data to reach Earth. When it finally arrived, a sleepy engineer named Raj at Global SpaceNet opened the file, thinking it was just another false reading. But when he played the audio, his eyes widened. The voice in the signal wasn't human. It was deep and layered, like 3 voices speaking at once. And still, through the noise and static, he could hear it clearly. Help. Raj didn't waste time. He pushed the emergency alert to his superior. Within 1 hour, the signal was at the top of the Space Council's table. Military generals, scientists, and language experts gathered in the underground war room of Terran Command HQ. They ran the signal through every known alien and human code database. Nothing matched at first, but then one AI found something deep in the repeating tone, a signature pattern, a sequence that showed intent. This was not a random noise. This was a call for help, and it had been sent over 400 years ago. Someone out there had been in danger. Someone had sent a message, but it was not meant for humans. It was directed to a group called the Tri-Stars. No one on Earth knew what that was. The AI guessed it was a powerful alien alliance. But somehow, they had never answered. And now humans had heard the call first. Earth had changed in the last few decades. It was no longer a small planet stuck in its system. After the fusion jump engine was built, Earth had sent ships into deep space. They had met other alien species. Some were peaceful, some were not. But none had mentioned this signal. None had warned them about any forgotten cry for help. The Space Council had a choice to make. They could ignore the signal, pretend it was not their business, or they could follow it. President Adira Kane stood at the head of the council room. Her voice was calm but firm. "We are not the old Earth anymore," she said. "If someone asked for help and no one came, then maybe we were always meant to hear it. Maybe it is our turn to do the right thing." The council voted, 17 in favor, 3 against, 1 abstained. The mission was approved. Within a week, the deep space cruiser USS Horizon was launched. It was one of Earth's most advanced ships, built for long exploration missions and equipped with combat systems just in case. The crew was carefully chosen, a mix of military, science, and diplomatic experts. Captain Rena Morgan led the mission. She was known for her calm mind and sharp instincts. She had once negotiated peace with a warlike species called the Var. Now she was going into the unknown again. The ship left Earth orbit with quiet engines and high hopes. The signal coordinates pointed far beyond explored space, past the edge of all known star maps. The journey would take weeks using the jump engine. As the days passed, the crew analyzed more data from the signal. They found fragments of a language. It was old, beautiful, and sad. Some parts translated into phrases like, "We are falling," "The sky burns," "Please hear us." One message stood out. It was almost human in its pain. "They are taking the light. We cannot stop them. Whoever hears this, remember us." Captain Morgan stood in the observation deck staring into the black. She whispered to herself, "What happened out there?" The ship reached the final jump point. The crew prepared for the last jump into unknown space. Sensors showed nothing ahead, just a patch of sky with no stars. That was strange. There were always stars. The final jump began. When the Horizon came out of the jump, All lights on the ship flickered. The stars behind them were still there, but ahead, only darkness. It was not just space. It was like a hole in space. A shadow that swallowed light. The crew went quiet. The ship's AI, Athena, spoke. There is a gravity field ahead, massive, but no visible object. Sensors are failing to read inside. Morgan gave the order. Proceed with caution. As they moved forward, they saw something in the distance. A planet, orbiting a dead star. The star gave no light, but strange energy readings showed it was still burning. Just invisible. They had found the source of the signal. The planet below was gray and cracked. Cities lay in ruins. No signs of life, but still faint energy signals like machines running on low power. As the ship moved into orbit, a new message played on all frequencies. This time it was direct. You are not the TriStars, but you are late. It was the same alien voice, but clearer. Captain Morgan answered. This is Captain Morgan of the Earth ship Horizon. We received your message. Who are you? The voice responded slowly. We are the Threxians. Once, guardians of light, now shadows. You should not be here, but perhaps it is time. The voice vanished. Suddenly, lights lit up across the planet. Blue lines across the ruins. The crew gasped. Something was still alive down there. Athena spoke again. A landing beacon has been activated. Coordinates. Received. Morgan looked at her crew. We came all this way. We're going down. The dropship detached and moved toward the ruins. As they entered the thin atmosphere, they saw statues, giant alien forms, broken and twisted. Buildings, melted like wax. Skies filled with dark clouds that didn't move. When they landed, the silence was heavy. The ground was soft like ash. They stepped into the ruins, weapons ready, scanners on. Then the sound came, a low hum, rising. The doors of a massive building opened on their own. Inside was a single machine, tall, with glowing eyes. It turned slowly. Humanity, it said. You are not the first to hear our cry, but you are the first to answer. The crew froze. The machine stepped forward. They never came. The TriStars abandoned us. We built this machine to wait, to listen. For 400 years I have waited. Captain Morgan spoke softly. Why did they abandon you? The machine's lights dimmed. Fear. The enemy we faced was not one of flesh. It was darkness itself. It came from the spaces between stars. It fed on light, on hope. We called it the Hollow. The crew looked at each other, confused. Morgan asked, Is it still here? The machine answered, Yes, and now it knows you are too. Suddenly the sky above cracked with a strange rumble. A shadow passed over the ruins, fast and wide. The ground shook. The crew ran back toward the ship, but the machine called out, You must not leave. If you leave, it follows. The captain stopped. What do you mean? The machine looked toward the sky. The Hollow is awake. Your arrival has stirred it. You can run, but it will find you. Or you can finish what we started and end it. Then everything went black. The ship's power failed. The planet trembled. And in the sky, something massive moved. It had no shape, no light, just hunger. The humans came to help. Now they were the last hope. And the real story was just beginning. The darkness outside was no longer quiet. The sky above the ruins shimmered like a mirror being bent. The crew on the surface stood frozen as the shapes above them moved without form, like shadows that didn't belong to anything solid. There was no sound, but their skin felt cold, as if space itself had come down around them. The ground beneath their feet felt strange now. The ash-like soil vibrated softly. It wasn't shaking like from an earthquake. It was more like a heartbeat. Slow, heavy, ancient, Captain Morgan called out to the rest of the team. Stay together, don't move alone. Their suits were still working, but the dropship's lights were gone. Even the emergency beacons on their belts blinked weaker than before. It was as if power itself was draining away. The machine that had spoken to them stood still, almost like it was listening to something far away. Its glowing eyes flickered gently. Then it turned its head back to the humans. "You do not understand what is coming," it said calmly, "but you will." No one spoke. Everyone waited. "The Hollow cannot be fought the way you think," the machine continued. "It has no weapons, no armies. It feeds on fear, on isolation, on the quiet places forgotten by time." Dr. Eli Navarro, the ship's chief scientist, stepped forward slowly. "How did your people face it?" The machine's lights dimmed for a long moment before it responded. "We built walls of light. We built minds to remember. We built me. But in the end, we were not enough." The team listened, stunned. These weren't stories, these were warnings. Captain Morgan raised her voice. "So why call for help? If it cannot be stopped, why bring others into this?" "You misunderstand," the machine said gently. "You are not just others. You came. You answered. That is what makes you different." As it spoke, something began to rise out of the ground near the ruins. Stone towers hidden below the ash slowly pushed upward. They glowed faintly like they were waking up after a long sleep. The machine turned to them. "The last vault. Our memory. Only those not touched by the Hollow can enter." Morgan nodded to her team. "Let's move." They followed a slow path, through the gray dust, toward the tallest tower. The door opened without a sound. Inside, the air was still and dry. Strange symbols floated in the air, glowing blue and gold. They moved like fish in water, swirling around them. Dr. Navarro reached out to touch one. It stopped and opened, showing an image. A planet full of green, life, and brightness. Alien cities stood tall under two suns. Then the image faded, and the same planet appeared again, but now empty, dark, and quiet. The trees were gone. The cities broken. Nothing remained. "This was their home," Navarro whispered. More symbols floated around them, more memories. The Threxians, tall and wise, sharing their knowledge with others. The Tri-Stars Alliance, once their friends, agreeing to protect them if danger came. And then, silence. Empty space. The Alliance had disappeared when the darkness approached. Captain Morgan turned to the machine. "What do you need from us?" The machine answered without hesitation. "Hope. That is what you have. You are not afraid to listen. You came without knowing. You still stand. That is power." The floor beneath them shifted. The tower glowed brighter. "You must carry the memory," the machine said. "Take it with you. Let others know what happened here. If the Hollow spreads again, only those who remember will be ready." Suddenly Athena's voice returned in their suit radios. "Ship systems restored. We have partial power, but something is outside, watching." The crew turned and looked up through the cracks in the tower ceiling. A shape floated above the ruins, tall like a ship but with no clear form. It did not reflect light. It bent it. All around it, stars flickered and vanished, as if being swallowed. "Don't have time," Morgan said. "We take the vault. We go." The machine stepped back. "I will stay. My time is over. Yours is just beginning." As the humans left the tower, a soft hum began behind them. The towers were collapsing slowly, folding back into the ground. The vault had given them its last secret. They ran across the surface and boarded the dropship. Lights returned. Engines sparked. They rose slowly into the sky, toward the horizon waiting above. But before they reached orbit, the shadow passed near them again. Silent. Vast. Athena's voice trembled. "Whatever that thing is, it's not chasing us, it's watching," Captain Morgan answered, her voice firm but calm. "Let it watch. We're not done yet." As the ship jumped into the stars again, carrying the last message of a lost race, none of them knew what they had just begun, but something in the dark did. The ship flew through space, but no one inside felt safe. The stars outside looked the same, But the crew of the Horizon had changed. They had touched something ancient, something forgotten by the galaxy, and now something was following. Athena's voice broke the silence. Strange readings detected. Something is matching our course, but it's not sending any signal. Captain, Morgan stared at the dark screen. No light, no reflection, but the scanner showed something large, just behind them. Never too far, never too close. It didn't move like a ship. It didn't behave like anything human or alien. It just stayed. Dr. Navarro sat with the memory vault in front of him. The small cube pulsed with a soft glow, as if alive. Inside it were the final thoughts of the Threxians, their last hope, their warning. He hadn't slept since they left the surface. He looked up. Captain, the vault is showing new data. It's reacting. The captain walked over. The cube opened slowly, revealing floating patterns of light. New images appeared, things Navarro hadn't seen before. There were flashes of stars bending, ships drifting without damage but with no life inside, planets turning quiet. It's showing us where the hollow went, Navarro whispered. It's showing us how far it reached. Morgan narrowed her eyes. How recent are these? Navarro hesitated. Some are only days old. A quiet spread through the bridge. The hollow wasn't a past event. It was still out there, moving. Suddenly, Athena spoke again. Incoming transmission. Unknown origin. Not in any known language. Audio only. Morgan nodded. Play it. The voice that came through wasn't one voice. It was like 100 whispers layered together, speaking gently, almost kindly, but in a rhythm that didn't match any known speech. Navarro leaned closer. It's not a message. It's a response. The cube is talking to it. The memory vault's glow changed color, brighter, then softer, almost like it was breathing. Morgan crossed her arms. Is it safe? Navarro didn't answer. Instead, he pointed to the window. Out in the distance, a new light appeared. It wasn't a ship. It looked like a gate, a ring of glowing particles, floating in deep space, slowly spinning, waiting. Athena spoke once more. The vault just changed our flight path. It wants us to go there. The crew exchanged glances. No one argued. Minutes later, the Horizon approached the strange gate. It opened slowly like a flower blooming. Inside it, the stars looked different, closer, brighter, older. Navarro explained as they watched. The Threxians built safe zones, pockets in space that the hollow couldn't touch. This could be one of them. They entered the gate. The moment they crossed through, everything changed. The ship's shaking stopped. The strange pressure in their chests eased. The whispering sound on the edge of their minds vanished. Space felt still, finally. Outside the window, they saw something amazing. An entire station, floating among golden stars. It looked untouched by time. Towers, bridges, and glowing spheres spun gently around a large central hub. Athena scanned it. No power detected, no life signs, but structure stable, safe atmosphere. Morgan made her decision. We go in. They landed near the station's outer ring. As they stepped onto the platform, they noticed something strange. There was no dust, no damage, as if the station had been expecting them. Doors opened without force. Lights flickered on softly, showing pathways lined with symbols like the ones from the Threxian ruins. The vault glowed brighter in Navarro's hands, guiding them forward. Inside the main hall they found it, a room filled with chairs, all facing one empty pedestal. Around the walls were screens, each showing star systems, some familiar, others unknown. One screen zoomed in showing Earth. The vault, it's connected to this place, Navarro said. It's using it to scan the galaxy. It's looking for more signs of the hollow. Morgan walked to the pedestal. The vault floated from Navarro's hands and settled in place. Suddenly, all screens turned white, then blue. A new voice filled the room. Calm, Clear. Memory accepted. Human presence confirmed. Observation begins. The crew didn't know what that meant, but they felt it deep in their hearts. They were not just visitors now. They were part of something larger. They had accepted the memory of a fallen race. And now, they would carry it forward. But far outside the gate, beyond the reach of the safe zone, the shadow still waited. Watching. It had noticed them, and it had not forgotten. The lights inside the ancient station dimmed for a moment. Then a soft hum began, steady and smooth like the heartbeat of something waking up after a long sleep. The vault on the pedestal pulsed with light, sending waves of energy through the floor beneath the crew's feet. Captain Morgan stood still, watching the blue screens change again. This time, one screen zoomed out, revealing hundreds of stars blinking slowly in a spiral. A soft voice spoke from the air, the same one that had welcomed them before. Welcome to the archive. Observation protocol has begun. Human presence confirmed. Guidance will be provided. The room filled with a calm glow. The station was alive. Dr. Navarro stepped forward. It's not just a storage facility. It's watching, learning, maybe even thinking. Athena, the ship's AI, connected with the archive. Data flowed across her systems faster than ever before. This place is reading my language systems. It's teaching me new ones. Thousands. Lieutenant Ray moved toward one of the walls. A section opened like a door, showing a long hallway with soft light at the end. The path looked peaceful, almost inviting. Without speaking, the team followed it. As they walked deeper, they entered a dome-shaped room. In the center was a large table made of glowing crystal. Above it floated tiny images, maps, structures, ships, and signals. Some were known, many were not. It was the history of the galaxy told in light. A small panel lit up on the table. One word appeared in English. Choice. Navarro looked at the others. It wants us to make a choice, but about what? The vault pulsed again and more images appeared. This time it showed Earth. Then it showed another planet, strange, green, and surrounded by rings. Then another, and another, dozens, each. One blinked one by one. Athena's voice grew softer. These are locations marked for hollow activity. The station is asking where we want to go next. Morgan frowned. It's giving us control? Navarro nodded slowly. I think it's giving us trust. A silence filled the room. Not fear, but responsibility. The Horizon's crew understood. The vault had passed something on to them. Not just information, but a purpose. Morgan took a deep breath. We choose the closest planet. If we help one, maybe we can understand more. Maybe we can find a way to stop it. The archive accepted the command. A calm chime rang out, and the maps retracted. Suddenly, a new image appeared above the table. It wasn't a planet or a ship. It was a symbol, like an open eye made of stars. Navarro stepped back, staring at it. That wasn't there before. Athena replied. That symbol matches one deep in the Threxian records. They called it the Watcher. They believed it came before even their oldest stories. The crew didn't speak. The symbol stayed on the screen for several long moments. Then it faded. The archive said one last sentence. Awareness has begun. They returned to the ship in silence. As they prepared to leave, the gate opened again slowly, as if the station knew they were ready. The Horizon moved forward, engines humming gently. But something had changed. The crew didn't feel like explorers anymore. They felt like keepers of a secret. A quiet mission had begun, one that had waited across time for someone to accept it. As they left the safety of the station, space welcomed them with stars as far as the eye could see. Somewhere among them something waited, but now humanity wasn't searching blindly. Now they had a guide. Now they had a voice, and the galaxy had finally heard it. The new planet came into view slowly, wrapped in a soft green glow. From orbit, it looked peaceful, blue oceans, gentle, clouds, wide valleys. But the sensors told a different story. Life signs were there, just barely. Weak, scattered, and almost fading. The crew of the Horizon stood in silence as the ship slowed down. They had seen many strange things in space. But this felt different. This world wasn't lost, it was waiting for something, maybe for them. Captain Morgan studied the data as it flowed across the main screen. Oxygen levels are fine. Temperature is stable, but something's wrong. There's silence. Deep silence. Dr. Navarro adjusted her glasses. It's not empty, but the life here is quiet, like it's afraid. Lieutenant Ray tapped the console. Permission to land? Morgan nodded slowly. Let's find out what they need. As the ship lowered into the green valley, soft winds brushed against the hull. The landing zone was clear. No cities, no signs of machines. Just nature. Trees with silver leaves. Flowers that changed color with the breeze. And still, no one came to greet them. The crew stepped out, moving carefully. The air was fresh, calm, and slightly sweet. A bird-like creature flew overhead, watching them with curious eyes. But no danger came. Then a sound broke the stillness. A soft chime. Clear. Beautiful and distant. They followed it. Through a narrow path between glowing stones they found it. A circle of tall trees stood around a crystal platform. In the center a figure sat. Not human, but not completely alien either. Tall, thin, with gentle eyes and soft light glowing from its skin. It looked at them. Not with fear. With hope. Captain. Morgan stepped forward slowly. We received your signal. We came to help. The figure didn't speak aloud, but somehow they heard its voice. A soft echo inside their minds. You are the first who answered. The hollow left nothing behind. Only memories and broken air. Navarro asked gently, Can we help you? The figure nodded once. Then it raised a hand, pointing toward the forest. The trees moved, opening a path. At the end stood something ancient. A tall structure, half covered in vines, humming softly with energy. That is the heart of this world, the voice continued. It holds what is left of us. But the key has been lost. Only with your help, it may breathe again. Athena's voice came through their suits. That structure has a signal lock, same pattern as the archive. It's connected. Ray whispered. Another piece of the puzzle. The team moved forward, entering the quiet ruins. Inside, they found symbols glowing softly on the walls. As Navarro touched them, they shifted into human language. Stories appeared. Pictures of the past. Great cities, peaceful skies, families, smiling under twin suns. And then, stillness. Not destruction. Just a slow fade, as if time itself had forgotten them. Morgan looked at the others. We bring memory. We bring voice. That's what the archive meant. They activated the center panel. The entire room lit up. A soft hum filled the air. And outside the wind changed. The trees shimmered. The sky became brighter. The figure reappeared at the doorway. Thank you, it said. With your light we remember. As the crew returned to the ship, a new signal appeared on the radar. Not from Earth, not from the archive, but from deeper space. Navarro stared at it. It's another message. Not a cry for help this time. It's an invitation. Morgan smiled softly. Then we follow it. The horizon lifted quietly, leaving behind a world no longer forgotten. Their journey wasn't over. It had just begun, and the stars had many more stories to share. The ship moved silently between the stars. Behind them, a forgotten world had started to wake up. Ahead, something even more mysterious waited. The new signal was unlike anything they had heard before. It wasn't just a call, it was a pattern, a gentle rhythm that felt almost like music. Captain Morgan leaned forward, watching the screen. It's coming from deep space, no planets nearby, no stations, just a point in the dark. Dr. Navarro tilted her head, eyes fixed on the data. I've seen signals before, but this one, it feels alive. Lieutenant Ray checked the long-range scans. No ships, no satellites, but there's something out there. It's moving. Slowly. Athena spoke softly from the ship's core. We're approaching the edge of known space. This region was always silent. Until now. As the horizon moved closer, the stars around them began to dim. Not because of dust or shadows, but something else. It felt like space itself was holding its breath. Then they saw it. Floating in the middle of nothing was a structure, massive, ancient, and shaped like a spiral of silver light. It turned gently, not spinning, but flowing like a quiet current. And at its center a soft blue glow blinked as if waiting. The crew gathered at the viewing deck. No one spoke. The feeling wasn't fear. It was something deeper, like standing before a memory too large to understand. Navarro whispered, "It's not a machine. It's a message." Athena agreed. "The energy here matches the archive and the planet we helped. This is the source, the beginning." Captain Morgan nodded. "Let's listen." As they got closer, the ship connected on its own. Symbols filled the screens. Words, images, music. They saw stars being born. Civilizations rising, sharing knowledge, building light, instead of war. Humanity wasn't just part of the galaxy now. They were being invited into something older, something greater. The spiral structure spoke, not with sound, but with light. It showed humanity's past, quiet, small, growing slowly on a blue planet. Then it showed their present, reaching into space, building, helping. And finally it showed a path forward, a future where humans stood not alone, but as guides, protectors, and learners. Athena translated the final message. You came not for power, but for understanding. You did not take, you listened. So now we share. The blue glow at the center began to pulse faster, and then beams of light spread out in every direction, touching stars across the sky. One by one, old signals woke up. Worlds blinked to life on their maps. Hidden voices returned. Humanity hadn't just answered a distress call. They had reconnected a galaxy. As the lights faded, the spiral slowly vanished, leaving only stardust behind. But something new had been left behind in the ship's core, a crystal glowing softly, marked with the same symbol from the archive. The eye made of stars. Captain Morgan looked around at his crew. This is only the beginning. We aren't just travelers now. Navarro smiled. We're part of something, Ray added. Something bigger than any of us. The ship turned toward the next star. Behind them, silence was no longer empty. It was full of waiting voices. And ahead, every light was a new story, waiting to be found. The horizon moved forward, steady and bright, no longer alone, and no longer just human. Now they were part of a galaxy that remembered, and that galaxy had finally begun to speak again.